Live from Joliet, Illinois and Route 66 Stadium, it's that time again for CCAC Baseball, the University of St. Francis and Indiana University South Bend on a beautiful Sunday here in mid-March. Happy to have you with us today. I'm Terry Bonadonna on the call, wishing you a good afternoon as we get set for today's doubleheader, 16 innings of baseball on the slate for the Fighting Saints and the Titans. St. Francis is the visiting team today, despite playing in their home ballpark. Let's take a look at their lineup first. Travis Schoonover leads off and plays right field. He's followed by shortstop Dustin Kroeb. Joe McGuire bats third. He's the designated hitter. Cleanup hitter is first baseman Anthony Farron. Jake Lasota plays left field. Jonathan Wolf hits sixth and mans third base. John Peterson is the second baseman. Adam Cebulka hits eighth and plays catcher, and batting ninth, center fielder Bailey Schultz. The starting pitcher for the Fighting Saints here in Game 1 is John Reardon. For IUSB, it's Spencer McCool leading off and playing center field. Batting second is their shortstop, Colin Mack. Devin Connors moves into the three-hole, playing third base. Jordan Moore does the catching. Batting fifth, right fielder Jose Sanchez. Matt Miller bats sixth. Miller plays left field. TJ De Herrera is at first base. Logan Young gets the start at second, batting eighth, and hitting ninth, the designated hitter Cooper Hake. The starting pitcher for IUSB in Game 1 of today's doubleheader is right-hander Sam Libby. Libby has been the ace of the Titans staff this year. No wins yet, but just one loss in 4 starts. He's got a 3.79 ERA. In 19 innings, he's allowed 8 runs on 12 hits, 23 strikeouts, 16 walks. He's allowed an opponent's average of just 185. So the Saints will have their hands full offensively today with Libby, who is set for the first pitch of the ball game. Travis Schoonover, left-handed hitting right fielder, swings at the first toss and fouls it off to the left side. We're underway, 12:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time. It's 0-1 on Travis Schoonover, who had a big game yesterday, but I could say that about just about everyone for St. Francis. Schoonover had 3 hits and a pair of RBIs in a blowout victory. Libby sets for the 0-1 offering. Schoonover fouls it off to the same spot. It's 0-2. Saints won that game last night 18-1. They did all of their scoring in 2 innings. They came back-to-back. 13 runs in the fourth, 5 more in the fifth, and that was that. The 0-2, Schoonover takes the fastball high. It's 1-2. So St. Francis, who went just 4-11 out of conference this year, couldn't have asked for a better start to their conference season. They won a pair of games on Wednesday and then a dominant victory last night. Schoonover slaps it out to left field. That slice is foul and out of play. The count remains 1-2. Travis Schoonover hitting better than 300 for the season. Coming into this series, he was one of the few St. Francis performers who, statistically at least, was living up to potential. Ball high, 2-2. Only 3 guys on the team were batting 300 or better at the start of play yesterday. The team as a whole was hitting 232. All it took was one big day of offense, and their average has shot up from 232 to 256. Smoked out to left center field. It drops in for a base hit. Matt Miller over quickly on that ball to cut it off. He gets it back to the infield in a hurry. Makes sure Travis Schoonover stops at first base, but he does reach first base. It's a leadoff single. Schoonover begins today's game just as he did yesterday's with a base hit. That brings up Dustin Kroeb. Brian Mahalik has elected to go with an identical starting 9 to the one he used yesterday. And why not when you score 18 runs on 21 hits? Probably shouldn't tinker too much with what's going on as Kroeb takes ball 1 inside from Libby. 1 through 9, every player is the same. Every position is the same as in last night's win. Kroeb flies it into shallow center field. Spencer McCool comes on hard and makes the catch. Firing back to first to try to double up Schoonover. He's a little bit late. Kroeb flies out to center field for out number 1. Schoonover back to first. He stands there with 1 down for Joe McGuire. McGuire, another guy who really had a big game yesterday. He was not retired. McGuire went 4 for 4 in that contest. Didn't have any RBIs because the bases always seemed to be cleared right before he came up. But he scored a pair of runs. Actually scored 3 runs in the game yesterday on his 4 hits. And he takes ball 1. McGuire another one of those guys like Schoonover who had really been performing well entering this series. And now exiting the series, his numbers will undoubtedly receive a boost, even if he doesn't do much of anything or anything at all today. Those 4 hits yesterday are going to provide some sustenance to the batting average as he flies this ball into shallow left field. Matt Miller comes in. Colin Mack goes out. The shortstop Mack makes the call and the catch in shallow left field for out number 2. Schoonover still at first base. He led off the inning with a single. Has not been advanced with 2 outs, and now it's up to Anthony Farron. Not a bad guy to have up in this spot, or any spot for that matter. Farron leads the team with 17 RBIs. And his batting average is right around 500. That's impressive for any point in this season. After 1 or 2 games, if you're hitting 500, you've done pretty well for yourself. But at this stage now, Farron playing in his 17th game, I'd say it's a big enough sample size to be thoroughly impressed. Count is 0-1 on Anthony Farron with 2 outs and a man at first base. Sam Libby trying to get through the first inning cleanly. His teammate, Troy Cullen, yesterday looked pretty sharp early on, went 3 scoreless innings before falling apart in the 4th. And now today, Libby trying to get off to a similar start and hope that he can finish it as well. And the South Bend bench would certainly love if Libby could go deep into this game. It is only scheduled for 7 innings as game 1 of the doubleheader. If he can't go the distance, at least go deep. Prevent the use of that bullpen as much as possible because they ate a few guys up yesterday. They used 3 different relievers in yesterday's 7-inning game. 0-1 on Farron, or 1-0 rather. He foul tips this ball, and now the count is even, 1-1. Schoonover led off with a single, now at first base. Check that, I believe it is 0-2 at the moment. Fouled off the first pitch. Ball low and away. Schoonover running and no throw down to second. No chance for the catcher Jordan Moore. The pitch was low. As Moore tried to pluck it out of the dirt and make a throw down to second base, he didn't get a clean grip on it. Really, no chance for Moore there. Just too hard a pick to make a throw down in time to get Schoonover, who steals second base. Man in scoring position with 2 outs, 1-2 on Farron. Big pitch from Libby. Fouled off to the right side. Still 1-2. Every pitch the rest of this inning will be a big one from Libby with a man in scoring position. But if he makes a good toss right here, he could limit those difficult pitches to just 1. He's 1 strike away from ending the inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes on the slugger, Anthony Farron. He takes the ball in the dirt. Good block by Jordan Moore. The count is 2-2. Farron's got 2 home runs, which ties him for the team lead. He's also got 4 doubles, which is the team lead all by itself. And yesterday, he hit his first triple of the season. Hard to complain about the production from this guy so far in 2019. No score in the top of the first inning. 2-2 pitch from Libby to Farron. Fouled away. It remains 2-2. You'll see a 7th pitch in this at-bat. 15 pitches so far this inning from Sam Libby, who was able to get a couple of quick outs following a leadoff single, but after Schoonover really fought to begin the inning, now Farron is really putting up a fight, trying to avoid the end of the inning. 2-2. Pitcher is set, righty to righty. Here it comes from Libby. Bloop down the right field line. Could be trouble for IUSB as it does drop in for a base hit. Schoonover scores around first, heading to second. Farron, he's got a double as Jose Sanchez chases that ball down in right field. It is an RBI 2-base hit for Anthony Farron. Saints lead 1-0 in the first inning. 5th double of the year for Farron, and not exactly the hardest hit of any of his 2 baggers. A blooper out to right field towards the line and too close to the line for Jose Sanchez to cover that much ground. He had to play it on a few bounces, no other options. Here's Jake Lasota. He takes strike 1 from Libby. 2-out RBI hit for Anthony Farron, who comes through in the clutch for the Fighting Saints. Lesota is trying to follow in his footsteps. The 0-1. Called strike 2 over the outside corner. Jonathan Wolf waits on deck, but he needs Lesota to reach base to keep the inning alive for him. The 0-2 offering. Lesota takes a ball low and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. Farron stands at second base, so still the Saints have a man in scoring position with 2 outs. They were able to take advantage of that situation a moment ago. Can they do it again right here? It's up to Jake Lesota. And Lesota rips one right at the shortstop. Colin Mack slices down to make the catch and end the inning. 1 run scores on 2 hits for the Fighting Saints in the first. We head to the bottom of the frame. St. Francis has the early 1-0 advantage. Bottom of the first inning, it's 1-0 St. Francis. Spencer McCool leads things off for IUSB. He'll be followed by Colin Mack and Devin Connors. First pitch to McCool hits the inside corner for strike 1. Morris, Sanchez, Miller, D. Herrera, Young, and Hake make up the rest of the lineup. Facing St. Francis right-hander John Reardon. Reardon's 0-1 to McCool is slapped to the left side and through for a base hit. Out of the reach of the shortstop Dustin Krob, it's cut off by center fielder Bailey Schultz, who holds McCool to a single, but the leadoff man is aboard on just the second pitch of the game. A good offensive start for IUSB. For John Reardon, looking for win number 2, make that win number 3 this year. That's the 28th hit allowed in 22 1/3 innings. He's allowed 15 runs, 14 of them earned, with 22 strikeouts and 9 walks. Reardon 2-1 with a 5.64 ERA. In 5 starts this year, he has completed 2 of them. Batter now is Colin Mack with a runner over at first base. The count is 1-0 as Reardon keeps a close eye on McCool, as does the catcher Adam Cebulka. Ball up and in. 2-0 on Mack. Colin Mack, the starting shortstop for the Titans. 225 hitter. Mack started in the same spot in yesterday's game. Went 1 for 4 as the leadoff man. The runner goes, pitches up and in for a ball. Throw down to second base. Not quite in time. It's a stolen base for Spencer McCool, and not the start that Reardon was looking for as he falls behind Mack 3-0. There's now a man in scoring position with nobody out and threatening to put another man on base with Devin Connors standing on deck. 3-0 pitch, righty versus righty. That's in there for a strike. 3-1. The pitch to Mack with McCool running was up and in. Not a bad ball for Cebulka to throw down to second base on, and a good throw, I think, would have had McCool out. As that ball is floated out to right center field and in for a base hit. McCool around third base. He'll score without a throw. We're tied at 1. It did not take long for IUSB to even up the score. On just the 7th pitch from Reardon today. Suddenly it's 1-1. An RBI for Colin Mack. That's his second this year. And for the second consecutive day, the Titans strike early against St. Francis. Yesterday they took a 1-0 lead into the 4th inning when the Fighting Saints took momentum and the game away. Devin Connors takes strike 1. That stolen base by McCool looming large now. It would probably be first and second with nobody out had it not been for the steal. Instead, it's just a runner at first with 1 run in. And again, a good throw from Cebulka probably would have had McCool on that stolen base attempt, but the throw was off to the third base side. Peterson had to reach back for it as Connors sends one deep out to left center field, or shallow rather, to left center field. Bailey Schultz comes over to make the catch, and that's out number 1. Shallow fly from Connors, the first out recorded by Reardon, and a big one, keeping the runner at first base. He needed that to get his feet under him after a rough start with 2 hits before he even had a chance to catch his breath. So now maybe with 1 out in the inning, he'll give himself the opportunity to reset, facing the very dangerous catcher, Jordan Moore. Moore takes ball 1 inside from Reardon. Jordan Moore hit a double in yesterday's game. He's hitting .350 overall. 5 runs batted in. And that for a team that's only scored 40 this year. Ball high, snap throw down to first base is not in time. 2-0, Reardon struggling with his command early on in the game. He's thrown 5 balls thus far to 6 strikes. And of the 6 strikes, 3 of them have been put in play. Runner on the move, swung on and driven out to left center field. This time nobody will get to it. It splits the gap between Lasota and Schultz. Here comes Colin Mack trying to score all the way from first base on the play. He does easily. An RBI double for Jordan Moore. IUSB takes the lead. 2-1 on Moore's RBI double, his 6th run knocked in this year. It's his 4th double. That ball was scalded. Now with Mack running on the pitch, there was no chance to get him trying to score. Here's Jose Sanchez. Sanchez is the right fielder for the IUSB Titans. He takes ball 1 inside. 3rd out of 5 hitters to see a first pitch ball from John Reardon. This, believe it or not, is not the first time that South Bend has held a lead in this series. Fly ball left field foul and out of play. Despite losing 18-1 yesterday, they actually were on top 1-0 when they scored the game's first run in the top of the 4th. And then after that run scored, St. Francis's offense came to life, and it was a laughing matter from then on. There's an off-speed pitch for a called strike. 1-2. Runner at second base, only 1 out in the inning. 2 runs are already in for IUSB. 1-2 on Sanchez as Reardon, a good strikeout pitcher, looks for his first of today's game. He misses high for a ball, 2-2. He's been missing high frequently in this first inning. Matt Miller is waiting on deck. IUSB wearing their home white uniforms today. They are considered the home team in this game, even though it's being played at St. Francis. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. Sanchez did a nice job of waiting back on that one and fighting the ball away when he finally could. St. Francis is wearing their brown jersey tops for their road game today. Another 2-2 pitch. Bounced right back to the pitcher. Reardon looks the runner back to second base, and now they've got him in a rundown. Moore being chased towards third, and there's the tag. It's applied by the starting pitcher, John Reardon. So a good play by Reardon, not only getting the lead runner on the play, but as part of that rundown, not allowing Sanchez to make it into second base. He's still at first. Moore, you could see, was caught up early on that play, and he was, after a certain point, just hoping that he could keep himself going long enough to allow Sanchez to advance 90 more feet, but it didn't happen. Here's Matt Miller. 1-5-4-1 was the put out. Runner on the move, swing and a miss, throw down to second base. This time is on the money and in time for out number 3. Looked like they had the hit and run on, didn't pay off as Miller couldn't make contact. Sanchez was thrown out trying to steal second, and we head to the second inning after an action-packed first. Our score is IUSB 2, St. Francis 1. Saints find themselves down by a run as they come to bat in the top of the second inning. 2-1 is our score. Jonathan Wolf, Johnny Peterson, and Adam Cebulka are due up in the second inning against IUSB ace Sam Libby. Libby is set for his first pitch, and Wolf swings and smacks it to the left side just out of the reach of Colin Mack. Base hit for Wolf. Shortstop put his glove up and just came about an inch short. I think it may have grazed off the tip of his mitt, but he couldn't quite bring it in. Wolf's got a strong start to today's game as he singles in his first at-bat after a huge offensive game yesterday that saw him reach base 3 times and drive in 4 runs. Hit a 4th-inning grand slam. There's John Peterson looking to bunt, but tapping it foul for strike 1. Peterson, a 167 hitter with 3 RBIs this year. He's got a couple of sacrifices to his credit so far on the season. Trying to pick up another one right here. The 0-1 offering clips the outside corner. The count is 0-2. Libby looking to put away the St. Francis second baseman, but first he looks to put away St. Francis third baseman, Jonathan Wolf, who's at first. Pickoff throw is late. Still 0-2 on Peterson. 1 on, none out. Ball low and outside, 1-2. It's a beautiful day in Joliet. A little bit cool, but pleasant in the sunshine, and the entire field is covered in sun right now. So better conditions today than we had last night. As Peterson taps it back to the pitcher's mound, gloved by Libby, whose only play is at first base. It looked like a bunt. It worked out like a bunt, so Peterson's job is successful. Came up looking to sacrifice himself, and that ends up being exactly what he does. It's not the way that he drew it up, but he got the runner over with 1 out. Here's Adam Cebulka. Cebulka, the St. Francis catcher. Another one who had a big game yesterday. 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Ball 1 on Cebulka. Wolf's at first base. Wolf's at second base, rather. Peterson grounded out. Cebulka and then Bailey Schultz for the Saints here in the second inning. Libby finds the zone. The count is 1-1. For the second consecutive day, St. Francis has seen themselves down by a run early. They were able to come from behind in remarkable fashion yesterday. 1-1. Ground ball left side. Colin Mack gets in front of it. Gloves the ball, sets his feet, and throws to first in time. Nice scoop at the other end by T.J.D. Herrera. 2 outs in the inning. Wolf advances to third base, and it's up to Bailey Schultz to get him in. Good infield defense so far this inning for IUSB. Peterson grounded out 1-3. Cebulka 6-3. And now Schultz is trying to hit one perhaps in the air over one of these guys' heads. He fouls the first pitch straight back for strike 1. Schultz, the light-hitting center fielder, broke out of a slump yesterday, going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. And now an opportunity for a 2-out run batted in right here. One of those RBIs yesterday came with 2 outs. Breaking ball just misses. The count is 1-1. 2-1 South Bend as both teams were able to strike in the first inning. St. Francis trying to answer. They've got a man at third base, but there are 2 outs. Count is 1-1 on Bailey Schultz, and he takes the ball outside. 2-1. Talked about it earlier, not as much lately, but the man on the mound has had some control problems. Sam Libby entering play today had walked 16 in only 19 innings. Ball up and away, 3-1. Hasn't really come up in this game, but perhaps it's starting to as he falls behind Schultz, taking a patient approach with him in the batter's box. Here's Libby's 3-1. Up and in, ball 4, and now he has to face the top of the order with 2 men on base. First walk issued today by Libby. And now he faces Travis Schoonover, who singled off of him in the first inning. Schoonover scored the game's first run. After singling, he stole second and then crossed the plate following an Anthony Farron bloop double. Now it's Schoonover who's got a chance to drive in the run. He's got 1 RBI so far this year. Make that 5 RBIs so far this year. He's in the driver's seat here with ball 1. Infield about halfway in, except for second base. Logan Young still back in the outfield grass. Ball up and away. Count is 2-0. And the way that Libby is throwing strikes right now, or more specifically the way he is not throwing strikes, he can ill afford to load the bases. He gets a visit from his head coach, along with the rest of his infield. IUSB 2, St. Francis 1. Titans went on a good first inning rally. Their top half of the order hasn't been bad this year. It's the bottom half of the order that has hurt them, leading to a .217 team batting average. Averaging to score less than 2.5 runs per game. Schoonover waiting for the conference on the mound to be over so he could dig back in, and now it finally is. Travis Schoonover, a left-handed bat. Needs a hit to bring home a run. Third baseman still in. First baseman even with the bag. Here's Libby's pitch. It's a swing and a miss. 2-1. Sam Libby does not have any strikeouts yet today. That may have been the most elusive pitch he's thrown in this game. 2-1 misses high. 3-1. Advancing to second base on the play is Bailey Schultz. Looked like the Saints maybe were trying the old hit-and-run play. If the throw had gone down to second, Wolf would have tried to score all the way from third. IUSB didn't buy it. They didn't make a throw to second base. So 2 men in scoring position now. Count is 3-1 on Schoonover. He smacks it on one hop to the right side. Gloved by the second baseman Logan Young. His toss to first is in time. Close call for the Fighting Saints as they put runners at second and third with 2 outs, but they don't score. We head to the bottom of inning number 2. 2-1, South Bend. Bottom of the second inning, IUSB has a 1-run lead, 2-1. They've got their 6, 7, and 8 batters due up against John Reardon, who got off to a shaky start but was able to get out of the last inning as it's bunted by Matt Miller, third base side, barehanded by Reardon. Throw to first, got him by half a step. Great athleticism there by Reardon, pouncing off the mound, grabbing that ball with his throwing hand and whipping it over to first in just enough time to catch Matt Miller hustling down the line. 1 pitch, 1 out in the second inning. And Reardon certainly needed that after a tough first inning to be able to retire the leadoff man is big. TJ De Herrera takes strike 1 over the inside corner. Reardon coming off of a long outing on Wednesday. But back at it in a hurry today and looking sharp here in the second inning as De Herrera swings and misses again. 0-2. There's a fly ball out to right field, sending Schoonover back. He reaches his glove up over his head to make the catch. 2 up, 2 down in the second. Back in the first inning, 3 of the first 4 batters reached on 2 singles and a double. Reardon was able to get out of the inning thanks to a caught stealing. Logan Young bats for the first time this series and takes strike 1. Max Walls was the second baseman in yesterday's game. That's the only position the Titans have made a change at. There's a grounder to short, fielded cleanly by Kroeb, whose throw to first is on the money, and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning for John Reardon. He sets him down in order using just 6 pitches. We head to the third, 2-1, South Bend on top. 2, 3, and 4 due up for the Saints in the third inning. Dustin Kroeb leads things off against Sam Libby, who's been solid through the first 2 innings, allowing 1 run on 3 hits so far. None of those hits belongs to Dustin Kroeb. He's 0 for 1, trying to change that here as he takes the ball high. Well, unless he walks or gets hit by a pitch, he will change the 0 for 1, but he'd rather change it into a 1 for 2 rather than an 0 for 2. Strike over the outside edge. It's 1-1. Kroeb, McGuire, and Farron. Should be a tough inning for Sam Libby. Swing and a grounder to the right side, just out of the reach of the diving T.J. D. Herrera at first base. It rolls into right field, a single for Dustin Kroeb. I don't know if D. Herrera got that one or not and slowed it down. It did reach right field pretty slowly. But initially, off the bat of Kroeb, it was hit too hard for D. Herrera to have enough time to get there. Just missed on the dive. Here's Joe McGuire. McGuire is 0 for 1. Popped out to the shortstop in the first inning. Strike 1 called. Libby gets ahead of the St. Francis number 3 batter. Saints down by a run in the third inning. Man at first with nobody out. Righty versus righty. And there's a ball low. It's 1-1. Farron is on deck. And that's a man who you know would scare Libby to have to face with 2 men on base. So a big at bat right here. Ball off the outside corner. Quick glance from Jordan Moore down to first base, but Dustin Kroeb wasn't going anywhere. So he gets back to first base quickly. 2-1. Now a throw to first base, made by the pitcher. Not enough time. Kroeb back in safely. Dustin Kroeb has stealing 3 bases this year. He's a man who can run, doesn't do a huge amount of it. IUSB keeping very close watch right now. Ball high, 3-1. Four hits now for St. Francis following the leadoff single for Kroeb. They've gotten their leadoff man on in each of the first 3 innings. Schoonover singled and scored in the first. Wolf singled in the second but was stranded at third base. Ball 4 outside. McGuire is aboard. Kroeb advances to second. 2 on, nobody out for Anthony Farron. Tough spot here for Sam Libby. I mentioned we saw a number of IUSB pitchers yesterday. Troy Cullen started. And then after him, we got a look at John Ward, Max Govert, eventually Marty Ewing. And it can't be understated how important that Ewing inning plus was because he came in and struggled to start with. But he pitched the entire 6th inning and was able to stop the bleeding, something that IUSB sorely needed. Trying to keep those arms fresh. Libby in some trouble after issuing his 2nd walk of the game. And now Farron will try to add to that trouble. Here comes the first pitch. A long pause by Libby, and now into the set position. Farron takes the ball high. He was looking to bunt. I'm not sure if he's actually going to bunt or if he was just putting it out there as a decoy. He does not have a sacrifice yet this year. One of the better sluggers in the conference. But he's brought the corner infielders in. The 1-0 is taken for a strike. Again, Farron was trying to bunt right there. And now, with a 1-1 count, we'll see if he keeps it on. Corner infielders think he'll still be bunting, especially the first baseman, D. Herrera, way in at the grass. Farron gets the bunt down to the third base side. Backhand is stopped by Libby. He twirls and fires to first in time for the out. But the runners advance. It's a successful sacrifice for Anthony Farron. Not sure I was expecting that one. But it got the job done. Here's Jake Lasota. A fly ball would tie the score. A base hit would likely give St. Francis their first lead of the afternoon. Lasota's 0 for 1, hit the ball hard, but right to the shortstop back in the first inning. Ball one outside. Two on, one out. The 1-0 pitch to Lasota. Fouled away. I always love looking into the crowd on days like this when it's nice in the sun, freezing in the shade. Everybody gathers around the sun, and as that level of sunlight decreases as the day goes on, I'm sure we'll see people keep moving to keep up with it. There's a swing and a miss. The count is 1-2. Libby's got a chance to put away Lasota. He does not have a strikeout yet today, but traditionally a big strikeout pitcher, about a guy an inning. Tapped foul, it's a full count. Or excuse me, it's still a 1-2 count here. 1-2 count on Lasota. Next pitch, ground ball to the shortstop. The throw goes to first base, and Lasota is out, but the run scores. Kroeb crosses the plate. McGuire heads to third. Both men were on the move there. Kroeb was off on contact, and fortunately the ball was hit softly enough that there was no chance to catch him. So Lasota gets an RBI on the 5-3 putout. Here's Wolf. Wolf takes ball one low. He took the first pitch of last inning right back up the middle for a base hit. Made it as far as third base, but was stranded there. Tie score, top of the third inning. And Wolf takes a strike. It's 1-1. Both pitchers working very hard in today's game. For Reardon, much more so in the earlier innings. Not as much in the last one. Ball high, 2-1. For Libby, he's just having trouble getting ahead of any hitters. He's only walked 2, and I say only compared to his season average, but not necessarily in terms of the overall number. Ball outside. 3-1. And once again, Libby's in danger of loading the bases. Peterson takes his cuts in the on-deck circle. Payoff pitch. Fouled away. Wolf still alive. Two outs in the inning. One run is in so far. They've got another one at third. 3-2 on Wolf. Popped foul to the right side over the seating area. Well out of play. Still 3-2. If Wolf reaches, Peterson will bat next. If not, we'll go to the bottom of the third with a tie score. Libby is ready to go. Blooper to the shallow right side and down for a base hit. Just over the glove of Logan Young, an RBI single for Jonathan Wolf. He's got his second hit of the ball game. 3-2, St. Francis has their first lead today. as they come back from 2-1 down to take a 1-run edge. Here's Johnny Peterson. Peterson is 0 for 1 with a ground out to first base. Swing and a miss. Peterson, the 6th man to bat this inning. Still a runner on. 3 of 5 have reached so far for the Fighting Saints here in the 3rd. And make it 4 out of 6 as Peterson gets one over the head of Colin Mack, and it rolls out to left field. Heading to third base safely is Wolf. Peterson and Wolf at the corners, and the batter is Adam Cebulka. Second straight hit for St. Francis, 3rd of the inning. Cebulka is 0 for 1 today. 3 hits last night. He could extend the lead with one of those right here. Yesterday it was in the 4th inning that the Fighting Saints offense broke through. Today they're able to take their first lead in the 3rd. Cebulka swings and misses for strike 1. Bottom of the 4th will feature the 9, 1, and 2 hitters for IUSB. 0-1. Runner goes, pitches outside, and Jordan Moore can't get a grip on the ball. Count is 1-1. Peterson has a stolen base. First steal this year for Peterson. He's in scoring position. Count is 1-1 on Cebulka. Called strike 2. Libby is trying to make sure that this is the last pitch of the inning. Maybe of his day. 1-2. Cebulka takes outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2. St. Francis leads on the heel of 2 runs this inning. An RBI ground out for Lasota and an RBI single for Wolf. Ball low. It's a full count. Schultz will bat next if Cebulka reaches base. A walk would put him at the corners. Here's the 3-2. Sharp grounder right at the second baseman. Throw goes over to first from Logan Young, and the inning comes to a close. But not before a couple of runs score on 3 hits, 1 walk. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. 3-2, St. Francis. It's the bottom half of the third inning. We've got a 3-2 St. Francis lead. John Reardon on the mound for the Fighting Saints. Fires inside for ball one on Cooper Hake to begin the frame. IUSB led 2-1. Back at the plate with a deficit now. Strike called, 1-1. Reardon allowed 3 hits to the first 4 batters of the game. Since then, he's retired 4 in a row. 1-1. Breaker just off the inside corner. 2-1. Last inning was a nice quick one for him. He threw only 6 pitches, got a flyout and 2 groundouts. Sharp grounded on the third base line, diving stop by Wolf. Up to his feet, the throw to first is a perfect strike, 1 away. Couldn't have done it any better than Jonathan Wolf just did on a hard hit ball. Wolf robs Hake of a base hit. And there's the leadoff out of the inning. 5 straight set down by Reardon and company. He's forcing them to hit on the ground. 4 of those 5 outs have been on grounders. Here's Spencer McCool. McCool takes strike 1. He's 1 for 1 with a single, a stolen base, and a run scored. Back and forth game early on. Saints led 1-0. IUSB quickly answered with 2 as McCool pops it up shallow right field, sending John Peterson backpedaling into the outfield. He makes the grab for the second out. IUSB scored those 2 runs on an RBI single from Colin Mack and then an RBI double from Jordan Moore in the first. St. Francis just got both runs back. Twice they scored in the top of the third to reclaim the lead. It's 3-2, and the batter is Colin Mack. Mack is 1 for 1 with an RBI single. He takes ball 1 high. 2 outs, nobody on base. Strike called, 1-1. Last inning, Reardon did not miss the strike zone. It was just a 6-pitch inning. They were all strikes. Ball low, 2-1. He has the chance here for another very quick inning. He's only thrown 9 pitches thus far. Ball inside, 3-1. So now he's thrown 10 pitches. Only 5 of them have been strikes, but 2 of those 5 strikes resulted in outs. The sterling play by third baseman Jonathan Wolf, and then the pop out from Spencer McCool. That ball misses outside. Ball 4. It's the first walk issued today by Reardon. Reardon has had control issues going back to the first inning in this game. The first and third, not so much in the second, but he's been falling behind a lot of hitters. That is the first one that he's walked today. Tying run is aboard with 2 down in the third inning. Here's Devin Connors. Connors is 0 for 1 with a fly out. Reardon throws to first. Next pitch, clips the inside corner. 0-1 on Devin Connors, IUSB's third baseman. Shuffled the lineup card around a little bit today. IUSB's got pretty much the same starters going. Connors moves from the 4 spot in the batting order to number 3 as he takes ball 1 to even the count. The only 2 personnel changes were at second base, where Logan Young replaced Max Walls, and DH, where Cooper Hake has taken the position that was held yesterday by Chase Cameron. There's a fly ball into center field. Bailey Schultz takes a few steps to his right, makes the catch, and ends the inning. No problem after all for John Reardon, who walks Mack with 2 outs but leaves him there. We head to the fourth, 3-2 St. Francis. We're in the fourth inning, and St. Francis has a one-run lead, 3-2. They've got a chance to add to that lead with Bailey Schultz leading off, 9-1-2, the scheduled trio of hitters. Bailey Schultz takes ball one from Sam Libby. Libby's been up and down so far in this game. He's allowed multiple base runners in every inning. Strike called, 1-1. Just one run in the first two, but St. Francis struck him for 2 runs in the third. Yesterday, the fourth was the Fighting Saints inning. While outside, 2-1. They sent 17 men to the plate in that fourth inning yesterday. Ended up with 12 hits, 13 runs. Fouled back off the screen. Count is 2-2 on Schultz, who walked and stole a base, but was stranded at second, back in the second. Two and two. Ball low, it's full. 6 hits so far in the game for the Fighting Saints. 3 of them came last inning. IUSB's got 3 safeties. No errors have been committed by either team thus far. For the second straight day, South Bend took an early lead, only to see it extinguished in pretty short order. Ball 4 upstairs. Schultz draws the walk for the second time today. It's the 3rd walk overall issued in the game by Sam Libby. And it puts the leadoff man on base. The Saints have had their leadoff man on in every inning of the game. Travis Schoonover is 1 for 2 with a single, a steal, and a run. He grounded out his last time up. And this time up, he takes a ball inside, 1-0. Libby pitches from the stretch even with nobody on base. So certainly with a man on first, he's not uncomfortable with it. So he misses up and away on Schoonover, 2-0. 6 of the first 8 pitches this inning have missed the zone from Sam Libby, trying to get back on track. It is 2-0 to the Saints right fielder. Just does get the outside corner. It's 2-1. Dustin Kroeb waits in the on-deck circle. Libby waits on the pitcher's mound. He's set for the 2-1. And now delivers a swing and a miss for strike 2. A sinker right there from Sam Libby. Schoonover over the top of it on an off-balanced swing. Count evens up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes as Schoonover takes one up high. We'll see if Schultz is on the move on this 3-2 pitch. Already 1 walk this inning. He's trying to avoid another one. 3-2. Schoonover swings and fouls it away. Libby has not put away any Saints hitters easily today. Still no strikeouts for him. Typically a good strikeout pitcher. 16 and 19 innings at the start of play. The 3-2 is in there for a called strike 3. Schoonover goes down looking. 1 away in the 4th inning, and it brings up Dustin Kroeb. Kroeb is 1 for 2. He started the 2-run rally in the 3rd. He had a leadoff single and eventually scored on a Jake Lasota ground out. But Kroeb is 1 for 2 overall in the game. He reaches out and taps the ball to the right side in foul territory. It's strike 1. Not a whole lot he could do with that pitch. Tried to keep it in play and at least advance the runner, but it was not to be. Schultz is still at first, and he dives back to the bag as the pickoff attempt is made by the starting pitcher Sam Libby. Still 0-1 on Kroeb. Checks the swing and takes a ball high. Count is even 1-1. With one on and one out, a one-run lead for the University of St. Francis in the top of the fourth inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Flown out to left center field, drifting over into the gap to make the catch is the center fielder Spencer McCool. McCool makes a nice running grab. It is the second out of the inning. Krob is retired. Bailey Schultz is still at first base. And the batter is Joe McGuire. McGuire is 0 for 1. He popped out to the shortstop in the first inning. Walked and scored in the third. Right-handed hitting DH. Pitch is taken for a strike. The runner goes. Throw to second base. Not in time. Titans thought they had him. Schultz slides in just ahead of the throw. It wasn't a bad throw from Jordan Moore. Seemed to be on time, just a little bit high. Not wild, but just high enough that Logan Young had to reach his glove up and pull it back down to apply the tag. And that's why Bailey Schultz was able to get in underneath it. So a close call, but the Saints get it. And now they've got a man in scoring position with an 0-1 count on McGuire. Ball high on McGuire. Count evens up, 1-1. It has not been an easy game so far for Sam Libby. Even the players he's getting out have been tough outs. Not a lot of short at bats in this game. One ball, one strike. Libby gets the sign from Jordan Moore and sets before calling time. McGuire digs back into the batter's box as we await the go-ahead, and there it is. So Libby can pitch once more. He bounces the next ball into Moore. 2-1, it's a hitter's count. Leadoff man reached on a walk. He's at second right now. Leadoff man has reached every inning for St. Francis. 2 of the previous 3 he scored. 2 balls, 1 strike. They're trying to make it 3 out of 4 in which they've scored. Next pitch to McGuire misses for, hits the strike zone. 2-2. The Saints are down to their final strike in the 4th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A man at second base. McGuire trying to keep the at-bat and the inning alive. But he can't do it. He strikes out swinging. A huge strikeout for Sam Libby. His second of the inning and his second of the ball game. He pitches around the leadoff walk as Schultz is stranded at second base. We head to the bottom of the 4th at the halfway point in this game. Saints 3, Titans 2. Jordan Moore leads off the bottom of the 4th for the Indiana University South Bend Titans against John Reardon whose first pitch misses for ball one. 3-2. St. Francis leads South Bend. Starting to work our way into the later innings in this game. Next toss to Moore. Lined out to left field. That's a base hit. Jordan Moore has his second hit of the ball game after driving in a run on an RBI double in the first inning. A leadoff single here in the fourth, and it's the first time the Titans have had their leadoff man on base since the first inning, which was the last time they scored. Saints, on the other hand, have had their leadoff man reach base all 4 times today. They've only scored him twice. Sam Libby pitched his best inning of the game in the top of the fourth, and now it's up to John Reardon to match him. Pressure's on Reardon a little bit. There has not been a great margin for error for most of this game. There's a bunt attempt. He misses. Now they'll try to get the runner in a rundown, but he steals second base. The runner takes second. It looked like they were trying for a sacrifice bunt. Jose Sanchez missed on the bunt. The runner took off from first to second. Cebulka threw behind him to first base. He just never slowed down, put his head down, motored into second, and by the time that the throw from Anthony Farron reached second, it was too late. So there's a man in scoring position now. Sanchez still looking to bunt. He takes a strike. The count is 0-2. So it goes as a stolen base for Jordan Moore. Or rather, it goes as a stolen base for the IUSB pinch runner, courtesy runner for the catcher out there. Ball up and away. 1-2 on Sanchez, who's no longer trying to bunt. The pinch runner is Case Cameron. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 1 away. So Cameron is the runner at second off of the stolen base. Sanchez strikes out swinging, so there's the first out of the inning. And here's Matt Miller. It's a big strikeout for John Reardon. It is his first of the game, and it comes at the perfect time with a runner in scoring position, nobody out, but he puts another man on base here as his breaking ball never quite broke. Matt Miller heads down to first base. He's plunked on the top of the arm. They're at first and second base, 1 out. TJ D. Herrera is the batter. Sanchez struck out swinging in the only out of the inning so far, but he came up with a runner at first trying to advance him to second, and he did essentially get the runner to second. Strike 1 called on TJ D. Herrera, who flew out to right field his first time up. South Bend trying to at least tie the score here. St. Francis is looking for a ground ball, which could potentially be 2 outs. Ball in the dirt, good block by Cebulka. The runners both thought about going. Neither one, though, able to advance. It's 1-1. Reardon has done a good job of inducing ground balls today. 4 of his 10 outs have come via the grounder. Ball outside, 2-1. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Fighting Saints. 2-4-0 for the Titans. IUSB trying to change that line right here. Breaking ball strike over the outside corner. It's 2-2. Logan Young stands on deck. De Herrera trying to get this done, though, himself. He's got 8 RBIs this year. A base hit would probably give him 9. That was a hard hit ball, but pulled foul down the right side, and the count is still 2-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 men on base. Only 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. A big inning for John Reardon, who has not been terribly sharp today, but hasn't put up bad numbers so far. There's a bouncing ball down the first base line, and that rolls foul as well. Still 2-2. De Herrera will see a 7th pitch. Cameron's at second base. He's a courtesy runner for the catcher Jordan Moore. Matt Miller is at first base. He was hit by a pitch. It's 2-2 on TJ Herrera, trying to get them in. Ball 3 outside, and Reardon is in danger of loading up the bases. He hit Matt Miller earlier this inning. He's also got 1 walk today, so he hasn't been terribly wild. But that pitch was terribly wild. Way outside, nowhere close to the zone, and D. Herrera draws the walk that loads the bases. A single, a hit by pitch, and now a walk. And they are full with only 1 out for Logan Young. Young is 0 for 1 today. He's a 143 hitter for the season, 6 for 43, including today's performance. 1 home run, 3 RBIs this year for Logan Young, who will face John Reardon after this conference on the pitcher's mound is over. Reardon's had to work pretty hard in today's game. The outs have not come easily to him. After 3 of the first 4 batters of the game got hits off of Reardon, he settled in and retired 5 in a row. Not just 5 in a row, but actually 6 in a row at one point. 6 in a row and 7 out of 8. But that was leading into this inning. And in this inning, 3 out of 4 men have reached base. Meeting on the mound is over. Logan Young steps in. First pitch is taken for ball 1. Didn't miss by a lot, but Reardon can't afford to miss by very much of anything right now. Fouled back off the netting. 1 ball and 1 strike. We're in inning number 4 out of 16 today. Game 1 is a 7-inning affair. Game 2 will go 9, and it'll immediately follow this one. There's a high pop-up, shallow center field. Both middle infielders back up. The infield fly rule in effect. Catch is made by Dustin Kroeb, and there's the second out. Big second out recorded by St. Francis, and now they're 1 away from a scoreless inning. They've still got just a 1-run lead. And the batter is Cooper Hake. Hake is starting his 4th game of the year. Came into play today, 2 for 7 at the bat this season, a 286 average. That's dropped all the way down to 250 for his ground out earlier today. He's 2 for 8 now. He loops it towards the middle of the field. Coming in is the second baseman Peterson, and near the bag, he makes the catch on the fly to end the inning. A nerve-wracking 4th, worked by John Reardon and the Fighting Saints, but nobody scores. And as we head to the 5th inning of play, it's St. Francis 3, IUSB 2. It's the top of the 5th inning. St. Francis looking for a little insurance with Anthony Farron in the batter's box. He swings the first pitch and fouls it straight back. Strike one. Saints have led 3-2 ever since putting a 2 spot on the board in the top of the third inning. Neither team has scored since then, but both teams have threatened. St. Francis left 2 on base in the third and 1 in the fourth. Ball outside, 1-1. IUSB loaded the bases last inning with only 1 out. Couldn't get anybody in, though. Perhaps the key moment in today's game. Certainly the key moment so far. Ball up and in on Farron, 2-1. Saints won yesterday's game 18-1. They're facing a South Bend offense that has not been particularly prolific this year, averaging just over 2.5 runs per game. Actually, just under 2.5 runs per game now. Ball inside, 3-1. And so you've got to feel good where you stand at 3 runs, but it's been tight. IUSB showing they've still got some fight in them despite their struggles. Farron takes ball 4 up high. Leadoff man reaches for the Fighting Saints. 5th straight inning, that's been the case. 2nd straight inning, it's been on a walk. There have been 3 of those, make that 4 of those now, issued in total by Sam Libby. That was certainly Libby's issue coming in. He allows just a 185 batting average for walks nearly a man an inning. He's got now 20 walks in 24 innings for the year. Jake Lasota is the batter for the Fighting Saints. Lasota is 0 for 2, but his last at-bat was an RBI with a ground out. That was the tying run, making it 2-2 at the time. It's 1-0 on Lasota. Second pitch misses high, 2 balls and no strikes. 6 of 7 pitches, in fact 6 in a row, have now missed the strike zone from Libby. Check swing on a strike over the outside corner. 2-1. That snapped that string of 6 consecutive balls thrown. Fighting Saints are trying to improve here to 4-0 in conference play. Ball up and in, 3-1. They beat Calumet St. Joseph twice. Both of those games on Wednesday. They beat Indiana South Bend yesterday. Up and in, nearly hit him, doesn't matter, it's ball 4 regardless. Back-to-back walks. Farron up to second base. Lasota is at first. 5 walks in the game now for Libby. And here comes his head coach. There's somebody throwing in the bullpen, so looks like a move will be made. Libby's day is done after 4+ innings. Very sharp at times. No control at other times. He departs with runners at first and second, nobody out. We're in the top of the 5th inning. St. Francis leads by a run and trying to add to it when we come back. New pitcher for South Bend in the top of the 5th inning with the Titans trailing the Fighting Saints 3-2. Kyle Hallberg is on the mound. His 6th appearance this year. He's 0-1 with a 16 .88 ERA. In 2 2/3 innings, he's allowed 5 runs on 7 hits. 1 strikeout, no walks. Opponents have a robust .500 batting average against the junior left-hander so far this season. Hallberg relieves Sam Libby, who went 4+ innings and walked 5, and that's pretty much all you need to know about why he's no longer in. Also gave up 6 hits, struck out 1. 3 runs allowed are all earned. Jonathan Wolf checks his swing, takes ball 1 on a slow ball from Hallberg. Wolf is 2 for 2 with a couple of singles and an RBI. A chance certainly for one more of those here, if not 2 or 3. Farron's at second base. Lasota is at first. Ground ball foul down the third base line. It's 1-1. There's nobody out in the inning. Sam Libby started Anthony Farron off with a strike. It was a foul ball back off the net. And then after that, he threw 6 consecutive balls. Another strike and then 2 more balls. So 8 out of 9 pitches were out of the strike zone, and that's ultimately what was his undoing. So I'm sure that the Indiana South Bend brass wasn't thrilled when Hallberg came in and threw a first pitch ball to Jonathan Wolf. But he's bounced back. It's 1-1 now. Still no walks this year for Hallberg. But he misses low and in here. It's a hitter's count, 2-1. Hallberg is from Lansing, Illinois. And he's given up a lot of hits this year. But again, no walks in his 5 appearances. He's the 6th Titans pitcher that we've seen in this series. Drilled foul to the left side into the seats. 2-2. Yesterday, Troy Cullen started. Then we saw Ward, Govert, and Ewing. Huge performance from Marty Ewing. Went an inning plus. Got out of that 6th inning and got out of that game yesterday. Swing and a foul tip. Wolf just does stay alive. Ewing came on last night in the 5th inning and struggled a little bit. Gave up a single and a walk and recorded only 1 out, but he got out of that and then pitched a shutdown 7th 1-2-3 inning that they so desperately needed because it was the last inning of the game, and they didn't want to burn any more pitchers coming into today knowing they had the doubleheader. Ground ball foul past third base. Still 2-2. So South Bend obviously is going to have a loaded pitching staff in order to make it through tonight's game. Which is not to say that yesterday's pitchers can't come back out and throw again today, but a few of them can't. 2-2. There's a fly ball out to center field. Playable for Spencer McCool. McCool makes the grab. Farron tags from second, elects not to try for third. So he stays where he is, as does Lasota. 1 out in the inning. And John Peterson is the batter. Peterson is 1 for 2. He has singled and stolen a base. He's also grounded out to the pitcher. Base hit here extends the lead most likely for the Fighting Saints. First pitch to Peterson is roped into left field and down for a base hit. Farron holds, so it is a base hit for Peterson, but it does not score a run. It does, however, load the bases in front of Adam Cebulka. Lasota is at second. Peterson is at first. Farron's at third base. Farron held up briefly. Wanted to see if Colin Mack was going to have a play on that ball. When it became clear that he didn't, Farron turned on the Jets, but it was too late to score. Base is full for the second time in the last few innings. Cebulka at the plate. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs. This one he flies out to deep left field, but foul for strike 1. In the bottom of the 4th inning, Indiana South Bend loaded the bases with 1 out. They did not score as John Reardon made some huge pitches to get out of the threat. We'll see if Kyle Hallberg can do the same thing here. Ball one on Cebulka. The count is even. Saints lead by a run. It could be more if this inning plays out the way that they'd like it to with the bases full. Cebulka flies it to center field. It's deep. Spencer McCool still going back on it. McCool turns around and can't get to it. The ball bounces up on the warning track. 2 runs are in. Here comes John Peterson to third base, and he stops where he is. It's a double for Adam Cebulka, a 2-run double, and the Saints lead 5-2 as they break the game open in the 5th inning. For Cebulka, it's the first hit of the game, but the 4th hit, 3rd and 4th RBIs of this series. And Cebulka now has 6 runs batted in this year. Close the book on Sam Libby, who started this game and who started this inning. Ball low and away on Bailey Schultz. Pinch runner over at second base. I think that's Noah Carraro for the Fighting Saints. Courtesy runner for the catcher. Schultz fouls it off to the left side. Strike one. Bailey Schultz has not put the ball in play yet today. 2 walks in 2 plate appearances. He's also got 2 stolen bases, but no runs. Infield in all around for the Titans. 1-1. Breaking ball outside. 2-1. Both runs charged to Libby. He ended up going 4 innings, allowing 5 runs, all of them earned. 5 walks issued in the game, and 3 of those 5 walks came in to score. Ball outside. 3-1. It's a 3-run lead right now for St. Francis, so you certainly could say that the walks have been the difference. The 3-1 pitch finds the outside corner. Schultz thought he had walked for the 3rd time today, getting set to toss his bat off to the side before it was called a strike, and now the count is full. 3-2, 2 outs, runners at second and third. 2 runs are already in. Schultz floats it down the right field line, and it drops foul. Peterson's at third base. Carraro's at second. 9 hits in the game now for St. Francis. They've out-hit IUSB 9-4. Full count on Schultz. He swings and flies it to shallow right field. Jose Sanchez comes in, puts it away, and ends the inning. Excuse me, that's only out number 2, my mistake. Second out of the inning. He gets the ball back to the infield quickly enough to hold Peterson at third base. Not a very deep fly. Carraro has to stay at second. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking there were 2 outs there, but the distance on that fly ball was hugely beneficial to IUSB. Another, 5 feet or so. Wouldn't have taken much. Peterson would have had a good opportunity to tag. Instead, he stays put, and Travis Schoonover bats, the 7th hitter of the inning, with runners at second and third and 2 down. Ball outside on Schoonover, 1-0. Travis Schoonover is 1 for 3 with a single, a stolen base, and a run. Struck out looking his last time up. One of 2 strikeouts in the game today for Sam Libby. There's a fly ball out to center field. This time it seems as though McCool has a beat on it, and he does make the catch to end the inning. But 2 runs score on 2 hits, 2 walks, 2 left. On our way to the bottom of the 5th inning, our score is St. Francis 5, South Bend 2. It's the biggest lead of the game for either side. St. Francis leads 5-2 as they've scored 4 unanswered runs. Top of the order for IUSB in the 5th, Spencer McCool takes ball 1 high from John Reardon. Reardon so far today has made it through 4 innings pretty seamlessly as McCool flies it out to center field. Catch is made there by Bailey Schultz for out number 1. And the batter's Colin Mack. Has not necessarily been the cleanest 4 innings for John Reardon. 4 hits, a couple of walks allowed, just 1 strikeout, but he's only given up the 2 runs. And all things considered, he's been pretty good. Colin Mack pops it up on the infield. Reardon is called away from that ball by the first baseman Anthony Farron. Farron makes the grab just to the right of the pitcher's mound, and Mack is retired for out number 2. 2 very quick outs. In fact, the last 3 outs now that Reardon has recorded have come on a combined total of 4 pitches after he got Cooper Hake to line out to second base to end the 4th inning. Devin Connors is the batter. He's 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts to center field. He swings the first pitch, fouls it back, and out of play. Strike 1. Reardon has 1 perfect inning today. It was the 2nd. He's trying for another one of those right here. They've not been easy to come by in this game. A lot of base runners on both sides. Inside, nearly hit him. And the count is 1-1. Connors had to dance out of the way of that pitch. Fighting Saints have scored 5 runs. They've also, though, left 8 men on base through 5 innings. Ball low and away, 2-1. Just 4 men stranded so far for IUSB in 4 innings. Still a fairly high total. 3 of them came last inning when they loaded the bases with only 1 out in what was at the time a 1-run game. Hard grounder up the middle and through for a base hit. Reardon had to dance out of the way of that ball as he tried to stick his glove down while getting his legs out of the way. He was not able to snag it. It's a single for Connors and a 2-out base runner for IUSB. That also brings up Jordan Moore, who's been a hot hitter this weekend. Specifically today, Jordan Moore has gone 2 for 2, a single, a double, a stolen base, and an RBI. Jordan Moore trying to keep the Titans in this game. They're down to their final 7 outs, which is a small number, but they've still got plenty of time. John Reardon trying to shut the door on them here in the 5th inning. Reardon steps atop the mound, stares in at his catcher Cebulka, and gets the sign. He's ready. First pitch to Moore is fouled away. Jordan Moore went 1 for 3 yesterday with a double, so he's got 2 two-baggers in this series, lifting his season total up to 5. Foul rolled off to the right side. Count is 0-2. Only 1 strikeout in the game so far for Reardon. Trying to pick up number 2 right here as he looks to exit the 5th inning in style. Here comes the 0-2 offering. Popped up foul to the right side and out of play. Same 2 teams coming up in a 9-inning affair after this one. St. Francis again will be the road team against Indiana University South Bend. And it'll start not too long after this one concludes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jordan Moore goes down on strikes. The inning comes to a close. A 2-out single leads to no offense for IUSB. We head to the 6th, 5-2. St. Francis leads. 5 innings into Game 1 of today's doubleheader. St. Francis has a 5-2 lead on Indiana South Bend. The Titans of South Bend have brought on a new pitcher. It's freshman Tyler Wellborn. He's not listed on the roster as a pitcher. He's an infielder. This is his first appearance of the year. So it may be that they're trying to save up a few guys. I'm not sure for Game 2, considering they've used so many in the first 2 games of this series. But Tyler Wellborn comes on to make his season debut on the mound as Dustin Kroeb gets a chance to bat for St. Francis. He takes ball 1 outside. Kyle Hallberg is the man replaced on the mound. Hallberg faced 5 batters, allowed 2 hits, technically no runs. He did allow both inherited runners to score. Ball upstairs. It's 2-0 now on Kroeb, who singled and scored in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 3 in the game. There's a fly deep down the left field line back towards the track, and it's just foul. Just foul for Dustin Kroeb, going for strike 1. Could have been extra bases if it had been hit just a few feet over to the right. Instead, it's a 2-1 count. He retrieves his bat and goes back to the box. Tyler Wellborn, pitching for IUSB, has not appeared in the field this year either or at the plate. Ball inside, 3-1. So he's listed on the roster as an infielder. May have done some pitching in high school, maybe recruited as a 2-way player. I'm not sure the story. But this is his collegiate debut anywhere on the field. It doesn't start the way he wants it to as Kroeb takes a ball inside. Ball 4. That's the 6th walk issued today by Titan pitchers. That brings Joe McGuire to the plate. Remember yesterday, IUSB took a 1-0 lead over St. Francis, and then the Fighting Saints bats broke out. They scored 18 unanswered runs to take an 18-1 victory. Today, IUSB scored first again. They led 1-0, and then later, the Saints led 1-0. IUSB led 2-1 as Joe McGuire takes ball 1. So the Titans led early for the 2nd consecutive game. It was 2-1 in the 3rd inning. St. Francis, though, has scored 4 unanswered since then. It's not quite 18, but it's a heck of a lot better than nothing. Called strike 1. The count evens on McGuire. Anthony Farron is in the on-deck circle. Barring a double play, we'll see Jake Lesota this inning as well. 1-1 the count. McGuire takes a ball high. It's 2-1. For St. Francis, the leadoff man has reached in every inning today. In the last 3 innings, it's always been on a walk. McGuire has walked once in today's game, 0 for 2 officially though. He flies this ball into left field and deep, going back Matt Miller. Miller's at the track. Will he have room? Yes, he will, just in front of the wall. By about 2 feet, he's able to keep that ball inside the park. Joe McGuire just missed a homer. Instead, he's out number 1, and Anthony Farron is the batter. Dustin Kroeb forced to return to first base on the play. He stands there now for Farron. For the 2nd consecutive day, everybody in the St. Francis lineup, 1 through 9, has reached base at least once. Pretty impressive when you consider that both yesterday and today are 7-inning games. We'll have a 9-inning game tomorrow. Runner goes, pitch is low for a ball, throw to second, not there. It's a stolen base for Kroeb, and a man in scoring position now with 1 out. That takes the force out of play at second base. 1-0 on Farron, who's walked, doubled, scored a run, and driven 1 in today. He is hit by the next pitch, and he'll head down to first base. I couldn't tell initially if that one hit him or if he was able to jump out of the way of it, but it did get him as he is able to take first base. Kroeb is not able to advance on the play, which reached the backstop. The Saints will take the base runner right now instead. First and second, one out. First batter hit by a Titans pitcher today, but they've walked 6 and hit 1 now. Here's Jake Lasota. Lasota takes ball 1. He walked his last time up, officially 0 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. The 1-0 offering to the backstop, and that time it is a wild pitch. Didn't hit anybody on its way back there. Both runners advance. Fair into second, Krob to third. 2-0 on Jake Lasota. Right now, South Bend is having a little bit of trouble with the depth of their pitching staff. We saw it yesterday. We're seeing it again today. There's just not a lot of experience back there, and Wellman won't even make it through the rest of this at-bat. Tyler Wellborn, who is making his collegiate debut today, departs with 2 men on base and a 2-0 count. He recorded just 1 out. And we'll see a new pitcher now for Indiana South Bend. I'll step aside for a moment. Saints lead the Titans 5-2. We're in the top of the 6th, and they're threatening for more. St. Francis 5, Indiana South Bend 2. We're in the top of the 6th inning, and the Saints are threatening for more. They've got runners at second and third with only 1 out, and a 2-0 count on Jake Lasota. The new pitcher for Indiana South Bend is right-hander Brett Bashaw. On for the 6th time, he's 0-1 with a 10.38 ERA. He's allowed 7 runs, 5 of them earned on 9 hits over 4 1/3 innings. He's walked 5, struck out 3. Opponent's hitting .409 against Bashaw this year. His first pitch to Lasota misses low and in. Ball 3. Wellborn left with a 2-0 count. Tyler Wellborn making his first appearance on the mound this year. Threw 13 pitches, 10 of them were balls. He walked 1, he hit 1. He threw a wild pitch. And he did record 1 out. Lasota takes the strike. It's 3-1. But the only out that he did record was a fly out to the warning track. Just missed leaving the building and probably would have left most ballparks in America. Deep left field line here, 348 feet, extended just last year. Would have been a homer here a couple of years ago. Strike 2 called on Lasota. Count goes full. 1 out in the inning. It's Farron at second. It's Krob at third. Here comes the payoff pitch. Ball 4 outside. Bases are loaded. The batter will be Jonathan Wolf. Wolf is 2 for 3 with a couple of singles. He's got 1 RBI today. He swings the first pitch, grounds it to short. Scooped up by Mackey, throws to second for 1, and that's all they'll be able to get. A run scores. It's 6-2 St. Francis as Krob crosses the plate. Lasota is retired 6-4 on the fielder's choice. Wolf is safe at first. They're at the corners with 2 down for Johnny Peterson. Give Wolf an RBI, his 2nd of the ball game, his 6th of the weekend series. IUSB, I think, arguing interference at second base. A hard slide from Jake Lasota. That seemed to be clean. He went right over the bag. He did knock out the second baseman Logan Young in the process. But again, didn't go wide of the bag to do so. So it seems everything is hunky-dory as Peterson stands in. Peterson is the batter. Wolf's at first. Pinch runner Noah Carraro is at third. Carraro came on for Anthony Farron, who was hit by a pitch earlier this inning. Peterson 2 for 3 in the game. He was the only St. Francis batter without a hit yesterday, though he did reach base. Peterson takes ball 1. He walked and was hit by a pitch and scored 2 runs last night, but again, the only starter without a hit. Today he's got 2 of them. Looking for number 3 right here to add to the lead. Ball up and in. It's 2-0. Right-hander Brett Bashaw is the 4th IUSB pitcher to appear in today's game. We saw 4 pitchers for the Titans yesterday as well, so we've seen 8 different pitchers throw for them over the last 2 days, and plenty more today still to come, I'm sure. Still 11 innings of baseball schedule. Ball inside, 3-0. Now 10 1/3 anyway for the IUSB pitching staff, as we'll get through a 7-inning game 1 before playing 9 innings in game 2. Peterson takes a strike over the inside corner, 3-1. Peterson is the 6th batter of the inning. Walk, fly out, hit by pitch. Walk, and then an RBI fielder's choice. So despite all the action, no hits this inning. As there's a ball low, runner takes off from first base, and he'll make it in standing up because it's ball 4 to John Peterson. That's the 3rd walk this inning to go along with 1 hit by pitch. 9 free base runners in the game, including 8 walks today, issued by Indiana South Bend's pitching staff. Bases are full for Cebulka. He came up with the bases loaded and 1 out last inning. Doubled home 2 runs. Now with the bases loaded and 2 outs, he's got a chance to bring in some more. He swings the first pitch and pops it up on the infield. It should end the inning. First baseman T.J.D. Herrera makes the catch to retire the side. 1 run does score, no hits, but thanks to 3 walks and a hit by pitch, they leave him loaded. We head to the bottom of the 6th at 6-2 St. Francis. Bottom of the 6th inning, St. Francis leads by 4. They're 6 outs away from their 4th consecutive victory. Sanchez, Miller, D. Herrera due up for IUSB. Sanchez takes strike 1 from John Reardon, who's the only pitcher who's been on the mound so far today for the Fighting Saints. He's retired 5 of the last 6 batters he's faced. There's a line drive into center field. It'll hang up in the air long enough for Bailey Schultz to come over and make the grab. 1 away. The outfield is not the same as it was the last time we saw St. Francis in the field. Sean Harper is out there now. Harper playing left field as he's come on for Jake Lasota. A little defensive help late in a relatively close game. St. Francis leads 6-2. It feels like the Saints should be up a lot more than they are. They've had so many more opportunities than the Titans have. Matt Miller swings the first pitch and fouls it to the right side out of play. Through 6 innings, St. Francis's offense has stranded 11 runners on base. A number that would hurt a lot more if they hadn't scored 6 times and held a 4-run lead. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Matt Miller is 0 for 1. Tried to bunt his way on, but bounced out to the pitcher in the 2nd inning. He was hit by a pitch his last time up. He takes strike 3 from John Reardon. 2 down. 3-pitch strikeout. Reardon has his 3rd strikeout of the match. He's retired 3 in a row now, and 7 of his last 8. And he'll face T.J. D. Herrera with a chance to end the inning. De Herrera is 0 for 1 with a flyout and a walk. And he's hit by the first pitch, I think. Nope, just low and inside. Kept the bat in his hands as he walked about a third of the way down the first base line, just hopping away from the play. Didn't get him in the foot. 1-0 the count. De Herrera takes ball 2. Count now 2-0. Reardon did not miss the strike zone against either of the first 2 hitters this inning, but he's fallen in a hole against De Herrera. Reardon trying to finish off the bottom half of the 6th. Swing and a miss. It's 2-1. Even though we're playing in Joliet, Indiana South Bend is the home team for today's doubleheader, which means we'll go all the way to the bottom of the 7th. Ball low, 3-1. Unless Indiana South Bend can get 5 or more runs right now and then hold the Saints down in the top half of the inning. Grounded foul to the right side, full count. Second baseman Logan Young waits in the on-deck circle, but he bats only if De Herrera reaches base. John Reardon hasn't walked anybody outside of the 4th inning. In fact, De Herrera is the only one to draw a walk today. And he draws another one as Reardon misses low. Second walk issued. They've both been T.J. De Herrera. He also hit Matt Miller. Here's Logan Young. Miller and De Herrera at bats came back-to-back in the 4th. He hit one, he walked the other, and other than that, his control has been impeccable. But De Herrera's patience comes back to get him again here as Logan Young swings through strike 1. Young is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a pop out. Next pitch clips the knees, the lower end of the strike zone. It's 0-2. And now Reardon is once again 1 strike away from ending the 6th inning. He still has just 1 perfect inning in the game. That was the 2nd. But he'll take a frame like this. He had one in the 5th in which he retired the first 2 batters, gave up a base runner, and then finished it off. He did that in the 3rd as well, and now trying to do it in the 6th inning. Fly ball, shallow center field. Bailey Schultz comes in, shields his eyes from the sun, and makes the catch. The side is retired. Nice inning worked after all by Reardon despite the 2-out walk. De Herrera stranded at first base. We'll head to the 7th, last inning here in Game 1, and St. Francis leads 6-2. Top of the 7th inning, St. Francis 6, Indiana South Bend 2. Bailey Schultz leads things off. It's the 9-1-2 batters due up for St. Francis. And the first pitch of the inning is a called strike on Bailey Schultz. Schultz is 0 for 1 with a fly out to right field. He's walked twice, stolen 2 bases, and been stranded at second twice for St. Francis today. Nearly hit by that breaking ball. It went over his head. The count is 1-1. Brett Bashaw is on the mound for IUSB. Came on last inning. Faced 4 batters, walked 2 of them, but retired the other 2. Ball low, 2-1. Walks have been a huge issue today. 8 of them issued by South Bend's pitching staff, plus 1 hit by pitch. That counts as a walk in my book. Ground ball to third. Picked up cleanly by Devin Connors. The throw across the diamond is in time, and for the first time all game, the leadoff man has been retired. First 6 innings today, St. Francis got the leadoff man on base 3 times on hits and 3 times on walks. But now finally a Titans pitcher gets an opportunity to throw with nobody on base and somebody out. It's the first time it's happened. Travis Schoonover is 1 for 4. He takes ball 1 off the outside corner. He singled and scored back in the first. Since then, he's gone out pretty much every way there is. A ground out, a strikeout, and a fly out. 1-0 pitch. Outside, 2-0. Bashaw back into the windup. His next toss is swung at and grounded down the first base line. It's a foul ball. And it's 2-1. In the bottom of the 7th, IUSB's got Hake, McCool, and Mack due up. I assume they'll be facing John Reardon. Nobody throwing in the bullpen right now for the Fighting Saints. Reardon will try to finish up his 3rd complete game of the year. Ball low, 3-1 on Schoonover. St. Francis trailed this game 2-1 early. They've led ever since the 3rd inning, when Jonathan Wolf's RBI single put them on top 3-2. Schoonover smacks one into left field, right at Matt Miller, who makes the grab for out number 2. There has not been a 1-2-3 inning yet today for the IUSB pitching staff. We'll see if Bashaw can turn that around right here. Dustin Kroeb is the batter. He's 1 for 3 with a single, a walk, and 2 runs scored. He takes ball 1. St. Francis won just 4 of their first 15 games this year. They're on their verge of winning their 4th in a row since that start. Kroeb flies it out to right field into foul ground and out of play. The count is 1-1. The Fighting Saints will try to finish up this series victory with a win here in Game 1, and then if that holds, they'll try for a sweep in Game 2 coming up shortly. And then they're back at it on Tuesday against Judson. Ripped out to the left side, a base hit for Kroeb. So still no 1-2-3 inning for IUSB as Kroeb reaches for the 3rd time today. Here's Joe McGuire. Judson comes to town 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. And then Purdue Northwest is here 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. That home stretch continues. 12 consecutive games to be played here in Joliet. And this is game number 4 of the 12. Ball 1 high on McGuire. Joe McGuire is 0 for 3. He has walked and scored a run. Swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Bashaw's 1 out away from a scoreless 7th inning. Did not allow any runs in the 6th either. Ball in the dirt with the runner going. Jordan Moore can't pull it in to make a throw, so it's a stolen base for Krob, his second today. And there's a man in scoring position with 2 outs. St. Francis scored 1 run in the first, 2 in the third, 2 in the fifth, 1 in the sixth. The 6th inning run came on a Jonathan Wolf RBI groundout. Ball outside, 3-1. Bashaw's in danger of walking another. He's already walked 2 of the 7 men that he's faced in this appearance. 6 walks in 5 1/3 innings this year. Foul ball off to the right, high in the air and into the seats. The count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Joe McGuire, looking for his first hit of the game. As a whole, the Saints have 9 of them. Three balls and 2 strikes on McGuire. Bashaw sets and delivers. Ball 4, up and in. He walked another one. That's now 3 out of 8 batters to face Brett Bashaw, who have drawn a walk. Here's Anthony Farron. Farron's drawn a walk today. He's also been hit by a pitch. He's got an RBI double and a run scored. And he bats for the 5th time. He was removed for a pinch runner last inning, came back into the game afterwards. Ball 1 high on Farron. So far this inning, Bashaw's thrown more balls than strikes. Just came up with his first walk a moment ago. 2 on base. And that ball misses high. It's 2-0. 20 pitches this inning for Bashaw. Only 8 of them have been strikes. Last inning, he threw 8 balls and only 5 strikes. There's a swing and a fly ball into right field. Should be routine for Jose Sanchez. He makes the catch and ends the inning. 2 more left on base by the Saints. That's 13 men left on in 7 innings. But they didn't necessarily need the insurance. They've got a 4-run lead, and if John Reardon can shut the door here in the 7th, they'll have their 4th straight win. 6-2, St. Francis. 1 inning to play. Cooper Hake leads off the bottom of the 7th. It takes ball 1 high from John Reardon. Hake is 0 for 2 today, robbed by Jonathan Wolf on a diving play down the third base line back in the 3rd inning. He lined out to second softly his last time up. He takes a strike here. It's 1-1. Reardon gunning for his 3rd complete game of the year. He's 3 outs away from it. And he's got a 6-2 lead as he misses for a ball. 2-1 on Hake. Spencer McCool and Colin Mack due to follow the leadoff man here If anybody reaches, we'll see Devin Connors. Hake swings through a strike. It's 2-2. Game 2 coming up just after this one concludes. And if the Saints can get these final 3 outs, they'll be looking for their 5th straight win. And they're a little bit closer to number 4 as Hake takes strike 3. Reardon has himself another strikeout. 1 down in the 7th. 4 strikeouts now for Reardon in the game. 2 of them have come looking. And we're back to the top of the order, and Spencer McCool. McCool is 1 for 3. He singled in the first inning and scored a run. This time he swings the first pitch and flies it out to left field. Well hit, but playable for Sean Harper, who backs up and makes the grab. 2 down. A quick second out there, and Reardon is now 1 away from winning his 3rd game of the year. For St. Francis, it would be the 8th victory of the season, and he would be the first pitcher on the team to reach the 3-win plateau. Colin Mack has been on 2 of his 3 plate appearances today. An RBI single and a run in the first. He walked his last time up. Or he walked in the 3rd, I should say. It was his next time up. Popped out his last time up. So he's 1 for 2. And he's got a 1-0 count. Now it's 2-0 as he takes a ball inside and high. 6-2 St. Francis. They've scored 5 unanswered runs. Ball low, 3-0. 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th. They've left 13 men on base, but it hasn't mattered because they've scored enough. Ball 4 inside. 4th walk issued today by Reardon. 2nd time he's put Colin Mack on for free. So he's walked Mack twice, he's walked D. Herrera twice. And that's it. Here's Devin Connors. They'll still need a few more guys to get on base even to bring the tying run up. Connors is 1 for 3 with a single and a pair of flyouts. Ball 1. Count is 1-0 on the 3rd baseman Connors. Next pitch from Reardon off the inside corner. 2-0. 6 consecutive misses from Reardon after he recorded 2 quick outs. A 4-pitch walk of Colin Mack, and now a 2-0 count on Devin Connors. Just 1 out away from a complete game victory. There's a grounder to 3rd. Up with it is Wolf. He throws to 2nd, and there's your ball game. 5-4 on the fielder's choice. Saints win 6-2. And a nice team victory here, number 4 in a row for the Fighting Saints team that had been just 4 of 15 coming into that stretch of conference play, which began on Wednesday, but they are enjoying their home field so far this year. This one not quite as dominant as last night's, but a lot of base runners for St. Francis in this game. They kept the pressure on throughout, and they're able to come away with a 6-2 victory. The Saints did score first in this game. Back in the first inning, Travis Schoonover singled, and then Anthony Farron doubled him in to make it 1-0. But IUSB struck back very quickly. In the bottom of the first, Spencer McCool and Colin Mack both singled. They would score. Actually, sorry, McCool singled and stole 2nd and scored on Colin Mack's base hit, and then Mack would score on a Jordan Moore double. That made it a 2-1 IUSB lead. For the 2nd day in a row, though, the Saints stormed back from an early deficit. This time they took the lead for good with 2 in the 3rd. Singles for Krob and a walk for McGuire got things started, and then an RBI groundout for Jake Lasota and an RBI single for Jonathan Wolf made it 3-2. They added 2 more runs on a bases-loaded double from Adam Sabolka in the 5th. And in the 6th inning, Jonathan Wolf picked up another RBI, his 6th of the series. It came on a fielder's choice that brought home Dustin Krob. It made the final score 6-2. Our final totals overall today for the Saints: 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And for the Titans, 2-6-0. Winning pitcher is John Reardon. He went the distance, allowed just the 2 runs. Reardon improves to 3-1 for the season. The losing pitcher is Sam Libby, who lost his control in the 5th inning. Walked a couple of guys, had to be removed. Libby entered today as far and away IUSB's best pitcher, but today he falls to 0-2 as he takes the loss, going 4+ innings. With the win, St. Francis is now 8-11. Indiana South Bend is 1-18. And we've got more to decide today between these two teams. Game 2 of the doubleheader is coming up shortly. I'm going to step away, but we'll be back in just a little while, so don't go anywhere because there's still 9 innings of baseball to be played here in Joliet today. As for Game 1, St. Francis wins it 6-2.